Hey everyone, Nate here. Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about being in front of the camera because I was recently on a shoot and we were doing interviews with these employees of the business. And their intention was to showcase these employees, their personalities, and put them on camera a little bit because we haven't been able to get a lot of face-to-face time during the pandemic. And I think this is a really good idea, but I noticed the employees were incredibly nervous to be in front of the camera. It's a very nerve-wracking experience, and they just didn't seem very mentally prepared for something like this. So I know how stressful it can be to be in front of the camera, but I thought today I would just give you guys some tips on how to prepare yourself a little bit more for being on camera and sort of take away the anxiety of the experience. And just a little disclaimer that these tips are mostly for people that have little or no experience in front of the camera. None of these tips are really going to make you a better actor or better at reading scripts or anything like that. This is just to make you feel a little bit more comfortable and relieve some of that anxiety that can come with being on camera. So with that, let's get right into it. Tip number one is get a good night's rest and also avoid caffeine before going on camera. Now, getting rest is obvious. It's always good for you to get a good night's sleep before doing anything important the following day. But to avoid caffeine, this will relieve a lot of the anxiety that you get from caffeine. If you're chugging coffee a bunch and then getting on camera, that's when the sweats come in, that's when the shakes come in, that's when you get that anxious feeling, and you really want to avoid that. I'm assuming you're not going to be on camera that long, so you don't want to chug a bunch of coffee just to be on camera for 5 minutes. It's just not going to make you feel good. So if you can, I know it's difficult, avoid the caffeine until after you're on camera. Tip number two is know the material before you go on camera. So if there's a script or you're going to be reading off a teleprompter or anything like that, be sure to go over this material a couple days beforehand and the night before, just so it flows a little bit easier when reading it off the teleprompter. If it's an interview setting, feel free to just ask for the questions beforehand, and that way you can have a little bit more preparation of what your answers are going to be before you go on camera. Tip number three is practice in front of a loved one or a significant other or a trusted friend, anyone that can just sort of sit there and listen to the material and give you reassurance that it's flowing nicely. Also, it's good to set up a camera or maybe your phone and just film yourself doing it. This will make it a little bit less jarring when you actually get on set and get in front of the camera itself. Tip number four is make sure you like the way you look. The night before, maybe pick out an outfit that you really like. That way you can feel a lot more confident and a lot more comfortable on camera. Tip number five is don't feel bad for feeling nervous or needing a little bit more instruction from the film crew, because they're here for you. This is what they do for a living, and they want to make sure that you feel as comfortable as possible. I get a lot of people in front of the camera that apologize a lot. They're so apologetic about feeling nervous or not doing it the right way, and you don't have to feel that way. If these are professionals that are filming you, then they should be able to make you feel comfortable, and they will be very understanding because they see this all the time. Tip number six is don't rush. You're gonna have this instinctual feeling, you won't even realize that it's happening, that you wanna rush through your lines or you wanna rush through the questions so you can get this terrible experience over with. But in the end, you're not gonna be happy with the results. It's gonna be very clear that you were rushing through, and it makes you seem way more nervous on camera. Feel free to take a few deep breaths before the questions or before the camera rolls. Really center yourself and just kind of slow down and realize that there is no need to rush. You can take your time and you'll be much happier with the results. Tip number seven is warm-up questions. These aren't for everybody, but for me, I find them to be incredibly helpful. And this is just giving the person a very simple question to answer in front of the camera, a question that they know the answer to. So my personal favorite is, what did you have for breakfast? Or what kind of dog do you have? Or any type of question that they would easily know the answer to, and it can get them a little bit more comfortable to be on camera and answering questions. It builds their confidence that this isn't as hard as they think it is. So all you have to do is answer the questions honestly. So if you can ask for warm-up questions and there is time, I highly recommend it. And my eighth and final tip is everything does not have to be perfect. You are allowed to make mistakes. But if you are in the flow of it and you're answering these questions really well, or you're going through the script really well and you flub a line, don't stop and start over again, just keep going. The people behind the camera will ask you if they need you to start over, but more often than not, they want you to keep going because everything you said before is really usable, and probably everything after will be really usable as well. And they might just ask you to do that one sentence again. So try not to break your flow. Just keep going. You don't have to start over. You don't have to apologize. Just keep going and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Alright guys, there you have it, 8 tips and tricks that will hopefully help you feel more comfortable in front of the camera. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any tips or tricks yourself for feeling more comfortable in front of the camera, leave all those comments down below. Also, if you'd like, you can click that like, share, and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. So thanks again guys. I will see you in the near future.